What's up, everybody? This is KJ, and I am here to give you my UGL Week 3 Team Builder analysis versus Primal. So, Primal's a good friend of mine. We team build together, and I'm really glad that he did accept the invitation to join UGL. Great coach. He is currently 2-0. I believe he's 2-0 with a +9, and I'm 2-0 with a +8. We are two of the three teams that are still undefeated, so after this week, there will only be two undefeated teams. Shout out to Polo, who we play next week, because he is currently 3-0. But yeah, so big match here. This probably will have playoff implications, seeding implications in playoffs, etc. So really need this win just to try to get ahead of some of the better competition here in this league. So go through Primal's team really quick. So he's rocking a grassy terrain team. He's got Rillaboom and Hawlucha, so invert and offense. He's got Tentacruel, Incineroar, Miltank, Slurpuff, Espeon, Togedemaru, Palisand, Alolan Exeggutor, and Carkol. And so he has not, to this point, brought Alolan Exeggutor or Carkol. I think we have answered for Alolan Exeggutor, so I'm not too worried about it. It could be, I mean, if we let it get under Trick Room or something crazy like that, it could be a bit of an issue, but yeah, let's just go through the team and kind of talk through what I got going on here. So the first mon we got here is Urshifu, and we're rocking Poison Jab, Close Combat, Darkest Lariat, U-Turn. And so this moveset hits everything on his team. If the Tentacruel comes in, we can hit it with Darkest Lariat. Poison Jab takes care of Rillaboom. The Close Combat will do big damage to Hawlucha, Incineroar, Miltank. We've got Poison Jab for the Slurpuff, which is pretty big. And on this specific set, we're running Jolly max speed because he does have Togedemaru, which is base 96 speed, so we want to make sure that we can outspeed that. So, yeah, I mean, everyone that's watched basically has seen that Urshifu is broken. You don't need to run it Bandit in draft. You can run it Life Orb. I think in this particular game, Urshifu is going to kind of do some late game cleaning up. At least that's kind of the plan. I don't necessarily want to bring it in super early, but I think Urshifu can put in a lot of work, like mid to late game. So yeah, we'll kind of go from there. So the next one we got is Primarina, and now this Primarina is offensively built to beat a lot of the threats on his team. If he's not AV Tentacruel, he gets 2 KO'd by Psychic, so that's good. We handle Incineroar. We handle Hawlucha. Rillaboom on switches is pretty big. Like, if we can get Rillaboom on a switch with either Moonblast or an Ice Beam, that's going to do big damage. Answer to Palisand. Like, the only thing that really kind of comes in on this, and it would have, like, if it came in on a Surf, it wouldn't particularly like it, but the only thing that really comes in on this is the Togedemaru, so that is something to keep in mind, that Togedemaru does kind of wall Primarina. So we'll see what happens there. I expect him to bring Rillaboom, Lucha, Tentacruel, Incineroar, probably Espeon, and the Togedemaru. So very similar to the team that he brought last week, which is funny because we're actually bringing all 6 mons that we brought last week. So again, we'll see what happens. Yeah, and we are speed creeping a little bit because we want to attempt to outspeed creep any Incineroar speed creeps. So I've tried to be inconsistent with how much I'm speed creeping, especially in this league, because I don't know a lot of the players, so I don't necessarily know how they build or anything like that. But yeah, so kind of jump to the next mon. We've got Skarmory. So the idea here is that we can, again, potentially outspeed any speed creep with Incineroar. And honestly, the biggest thing with this is that it can hit a good amount of his mons. It hits the Incineroar on a switch with Body Press. It hits the Lucha with Dual Wing Beat and breaks any potential Sash, which is huge. The Iron Head Slurpuff takes a good amount of damage from Iron Head. Another potential switch into this is Togedemaru. Body Press does well against that as well. Dual Wing Beat also hits Rillaboom pretty hard, and Rillaboom is one of the threats that I'm really, really focused on. Rillaboom can kind of just run rampant on my team if I let it get out of hand. So trying to make sure that I can sort of keep that at bay. We do have the Rocky Helmet too, just for potential Rillaboom and Incineroar pivots, as well as Togedemaru. So yeah, I think this will be pretty big. I'm not expecting him to bring too many things that are like really beat by Urshifu. I mean, Togedemaru, I think he kind of has to bring. Espeon, he's been doing really well with. Espeon's actually his kill leader. And he's brought it like with screens, he's brought it like semi-offensive. So Espeon's something I want to make sure that we keep an eye out on, but I think like Espeon doesn't do anything to the Primarina, so not super worried on that front, but we'll see what happens. The next one we got is Druddigon, and so this is probably my dedicated lead. Druddigon comes in, it clicks Glare, it clicks Stealth Rocks, it potentially catches Togedemaru with a Stomping Tantrum, especially if he thinks that Togedemaru can switch into this, which would be solid because we would potentially miss the Glare because of the fact that Glare doesn't affect electric types, and then we can click Stomping Tantrum for a base 150 ground move, and that is not nerfed by terrain, so we'll see what happens. I know he's not going to want to switch his Rillaboom in on this, and I mean if he switches Espeon in, then that's kind of big too because we are Mold Breaker, so we don't care about Magic Bounce. It'd be quite interesting if he brought Synchronize instead of Magic Bounce for that reason, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, so definitely want to Glare things, definitely want to set up rocks, kind of go from there. So the next mon on the team is the Rotom Fan. Rotom Fan is heavy duty boots, Will-O-Wisp for the physical attackers, so if we can catch Rillaboom or Lucha with a Will-O-Wisp, that'd be huge. But the idea here is, in general, that we just want to be statusing things to set up Rotom to potentially just keep clicking Hex and doing big damage to things. We have enough special attack investment to Oko Lucha, even like some bulkier Luchas, so that's good. Boots and Defog, I'm expecting him to bring Tentacruel with Toxic Spikes, so he doesn't really have too many rockers. I mean, he's got Tentacruel with Toxic Spikes and Spikes. He's got Miltank, which I don't think he's going to bring just because Miltank kind of just loses to Urshifu. I think the biggest thing for him is going to be trying to make sure he doesn't just get swept by Urshifu. So yeah, I don't expect Miltank, and I don't expect Palossand or Carkol. Like, Carkol might be a bring, just because he could potentially have, like, switch it in and get Flame Body burns, but honestly, if I see Carkol and I think it's coming in on Urshifu, I'm not just going to be freely clicking buttons. Like, the last thing I want is a Flame Body burn. So, yeah, I think this Rotom has the ability to put in a lot of work. I was originally thinking about running a, like, Nasty Plot set, but I think having Defog on this set is pretty big. And the fact that we're going to be planning to Glare things means that Hex should be doing big damage if we can get some of that status off. And the last mon is actually Porygon 2. So, kind of going with the theme of like status and stuff like that. I was going to run Toxic, decided not to. And this slot was originally not even Porygon 2, but decided on Porygon 2 with some help from Tago, who is another person I team build with. It does switch in to most of his threats. It is physically defensive. However, it switches into his special threats very well. Tentacruel and Espeon. So I'm not too worried about those. And it also, I mean, it can threaten both of those potentially with a Psychic or with a Shadow Ball. So he's not going to really know what the set is per se. We do have enough offensive investment to threaten both Tentacruel with a Discharge, as well as Oko Halucha with a Ice Beam. And Ice Beam on Rillaboom is also doing big damage. And we are analytic this week just because we want to basically move. We're going to be moving after things anyway, so we want to make sure that we can sort of do solid damage if we are moving after stuff. So that is the team. Primal and I should be playing fairly shortly. It's going to be a very, very good game, hopefully. All in all, I think if we can contain Rillaboom and keep hazards at bay, I think we have a good chance of winning this game. If we let Rillaboom kind of run crazy and then the Unburdened Mons, either Lucha or Slurpuff, kind of set up and go crazy, it's gonna be bad. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Peace.